Welcome to Ascribe Illustrator. In this video I will demonstrate the key concepts behind Illustrator. The main functionality of Illustrator is to visualize, summarize and analyze survey data. For those of you who have used Ascribe presentations before, it has the same purpose, the same ideas, really to display the information behind the data in the Ascribe database, but this time it's way more interactive. So the main goals are to turn data into live information, and we put strong emphasis on ease of use, efficiency, exports, reuse, details versus batch, which means you can generate one chart specifically or a bunch of charts all at once, and then interactivity. All the charts are related to each other. There are two ways to start Ascribe Illustrator. One is from the main context menu that's available everywhere. If you right click on it, if you right click on the screen, you see the list of menu items here. At the bottom there is one called Illustrator. That's one way to start it. So let's do that. If you click on that, then a blank illustration will open up, and you will have to specify one of two things: either an existing illustration or a new study from which to start a blank illustration. So if you are looking for a specific study, you can type it here. You see the study, click open, which means then you have to give it an ID, ID 1, and then a label. Click OK. It will gather, Illustrator will gather all that study data into a very fast access data set that will be stored somewhere. So it's now created, and now you can start adding visualizations and canvases and so on. The other way to start an illustration or Illustrator is to go back to the main menu, go to the studies page, look for the study you want to start an illustration for, right click on that study and go to the Illustrator menu here. Okay, so there you will have to either specify a new illustration ID or select one of the existing illustrations for that study. Okay, so we now have created a blank illustration whose ID is displayed here. And any illustration contains a set of one or more canvases. A canvas is an empty region like this one, in which we will draw visualizations. Think of a canvas like a sheet in an Excel document. So we can have as many canvases as you want, as you need. So let's click here. We can add a canvas, a third canvas. So now we have 3 canvases, and you can move from one to the other like this. On any canvas we will draw visualizations. So let's add a visualization. Click on that button here, which means add a new visualization. A visualization is an empty block in which we will view survey data. So that's visualization. Two key things I want to say before I show something is you can move it around and put it anywhere in your screen, and you can resize it. Okay, like this. So let's make it a bit smaller. It doesn't show anything yet. It needs 2 components in order to show anything. First, you need to specify what question you want to view and what visualization type you want to use. So let's select a question. The question is selected from that drop down here. Okay, let's select gender, simple question. And the visualization type is selected here. So let's select a bar chart. As soon as you do that, it will make a request to the database and display the visualization. We now have a bar chart for gender. Okay, which I can move around and resize to whatever size I need, like this. Let's add another visualization right next to it, like this. So we get a little bit more familiar with the concept here. Make it a bit larger, and say that here we also want another question, name choice, another closed-ended question, but we also want a bar chart. Okay, so we now have 2 bar charts next to each other, and we can add a third visualization just below it. And let's add here a cross tab for an open-ended question. Make it a bit larger here. Okay, so let's select the question we want, this one, and we want a cross tab here. So we now have a canvas that contains 3 visualizations. Very, very quickly done. and it contains two closed-ended questions and one open-ended question. Okay, so you see that whenever I select one of these charts, one of these visualizations, you have a list here of properties that always display the list of properties applicable to the currently selected visualization. Okay, so if I now select gender, I see all the properties applicable for a bar chart and all the current values of that bar chart. So let's say we want to change the bar color here. So let's go here, select another color, choose that color, and as soon as we do that, it will redraw that specific selected visualization with the current new property. Okay, so for instance, what we can do here is, instead of displaying counts here, we could display percentages. I do that, I see now the percentages. Okay, so let's go back to the counts. Okay, so it's like Ascribe presentations, but in a very interactive way. All the properties are here, you don't have to change screen, and all the charts are next to each other, the charts of interest. Okay, so if I want to change the properties of that chart, I can click here. If I want to change properties of two charts at the same time, then all I have to do is click on that one and hit Control key and click on that one. So I now have the two bar charts selected, and if I want to change the color of these two, all I have to do is select the color here. Let's make green, choose, and it will change the properties, which means in that case the color of the currently selected visualizations. Let's do the same here. So I'm going to select or highlight or activate that visualization, which is a cross tab, and here I have a larger set of properties, one of them being the banner. So if I use name choice as a banner here, as soon as I do that, it goes to the server, and you see how quickly it is. It comes back and refreshes that visualization. So I now have three visualizations, two closed-ended questions here and one open-ended question right there. So this gives you a flavor of the key concepts of canvases and visualizations. A canvas is an empty space. Let's do the operation again. I'm going here to canvas number 2. Okay, I can go back to canvas 1, go back to canvas 2 here. Let's add a visualization. Okay, and let's select, let's say we want a pie chart for that same question, that name choice question. So we can make it big here like this and select a pie chart, and now we have a nice visualization that displays a pie chart for that question. A little bit more information about manipulating visualizations. So let's create another canvas. Let's add a visualization here. Let's make it a gender question bar chart. What can I do here? Well, I can first move that around, and I can resize it. As I said earlier, I can delete it. Click here, and it will ask a confirmation. Do you want to delete it? Yes or no. I can select it or unselect it. If I have two visualizations, then I have to use Control to select more than one visualizations. A few key things here. If I want to create a new visualization, I can either click here on New Visualization, or I can press Control click and then drag, and it will create a copy of that visualization. Okay, I can make this many times. That's a very nice time saver. So what else can I do? I can copy paste, or I can cut paste. So if I press, all the buttons are available here, but I can also use the keyboard shortcut. If I press Control X and then go to another canvas, let's create another one, and then press Control V, it will make a copy of that visualization and remove it from where it was earlier. So now it's gone from here, and it's gone here. What I can do also is take these two, click and Control key, then press Control C, make a copy, go to canvas 3 and make Control V, and I have a copy of these two visualizations here. Okay, that's very quick. So you can copy paste, you can cut paste, you can also duplicate a visualization by saying Control, click, and drag, or pressing the Control D key, which means make a duplicate of that visualizations and then move it around and change its properties. Okay, so I spoke earlier about these properties. If I want to change the visualization type of all these at once, all I have to do is select them all, click here, and then change the visualization type, and let's make this a pie chart. Okay, so they all turn into a pie chart. If I want to change the questions for these two to another question, then I can select here and take, let's say, one of the open-ended questions. So changing the question and or changing the visualization type of one or several visualizations is done in just a few seconds, even less. One more thing regarding canvas manipulations. As you've seen earlier, we can add new canvas like this. We can delete a canvas like that. We can rename a canvas. So let's go to Canvas 2 and click on the canvas menu here, canvas options. We can call this My Canvas. Press OK, and the name is displayed here. And one of the coolest thing is I can duplicate a canvas. So all of that, this information now I can duplicate by just clicking that button which says duplicate the canvas. So it will make a copy of canvas 1 with all its visualizations, and it will redraw all these visualizations. So once I have all of these, I can then change these. So for instance, I'm going to change these into a block chart like this. And I can change that to, let's say, another question, for instance. So let's take question 3, 4, number 4 like this. So I can duplicate a canvas, I can rename a canvas, I can create canvases, and I can delete canvases. In the introduction, I mentioned the fact that Illustrator is interactive. What does it mean? Well, it means that all the charts are interconnected, all the canvases are interconnected, everything is connected. So any data point in any visualization, whether it's a bar in a bar chart, a slice in a pie chart, a cell, any cell in any cross tab, can be used as a filter. So let's say we want to filter this entire canvas, and as a matter of fact the entire illustration, if it contains several canvases, for only the females. So well, all we have to do is click on the female bar here, just like this, click. See what it did? In less than a split second, what it did is it redrew all the visualizations of the current canvas based on that filter. So we now look at these 3 visualizations for only the female respondents. And in addition to that, what it did here, it updated this text box, which always displays the current count of respondents. So if there are no filters, and we can remove the filters by clicking here, remove all filters, this will be displayed with a white background, and it displays the entire sample base, 1760. If I click on the male bar now, I will see I have a base of 819, which represents all the males, and this chart and this cross tab are also completely redrawn based on this filter. Okay, so if I re-click on an existing filter, it removes that filter. Okay, if I want to change between male and female, it's very easy. All I have to do is click on male, then click on female, and so on. What if I want to make a combination of filters? What if I want to look at all the males that mention juice jumble in question name choice? Well, first I have to do here is in that drop down here, by default we are looking at one filter at a time. So if I click on one data point, I filter on that data point. Then if I click on another data point, then it switches to the other data point. If I click here, I have 3 options in total: one, or, and. So if I click on and, okay, what happens is if I now click on male, it will filter the entire set of visualization, and I'm looking at all the visualizations based on male. If I now click on another data point, juice jumble, click here, it will add it to the current to the current filter. So I now have a small filtered sample base of 54, which represents the number of people who are male and who did respond name juice jumble in the name choice question. Okay, so here I have a filtered crosstab as well. So that's a way to look. If I want to look at the people who are males and who either said male or juice jumble at name choice question, a bit of a ridiculous filter here, but all I have to do here is click on OR, and I'm now looking at 884 people who said either male to that question or juice jumble to that question. So I can look at one filter at a time, use AND or use OR. Okay, next thing I want to say about filters is you can save a filter. Now we now have, let's make it more sensible here, AND. Okay, so we now look at a filter that says male and juice jumble. I can save that. So let's click here on save filter and give it a name, and I'm going to call this the male plus juice jumble. Okay, and click OK. Okay, so this canvas is now refreshed and no filter is applied. But if I want to reapply that filter, all I have to do is click here and select male plus juice jumble, and that filter is now applied as if I had clicked on the 2 data points by making sure I had the AND here. I can create as many filters or filter combinations as I want, and they will add up in that list box here, and then I can move from one filter combination to another as I wish. This text box always displays the number of respondents that are now active. So by default, when no filter is applied, this represents the entire sample base for the survey. If I apply any filter, such as let's say juice jumble 119, and I want to look at the respondent IDs, then all I have to do is click here, and it will display a comma delimited list of all the respondent IDs. So we have 119 people here. When I create many visualization on a canvas, let's do it. Let's create another canvas here and add a set of bar charts. This, and I can add another one here, another one there, another one there, whatever the content, like this. So I have a bunch of visualizations. I can arrange them in a grid, and all you have to do is to make sure that the last visualization you resized is the target size you want. So if I want a set of tiny charts like this, then I resize that one or any one, and then I click on this icon here which says arrange visualizations in grid. You see, as soon as I do that, it will arrange them all. If I want to create big visualizations like this, and then if I hit that, then it will draw them underneath each other, just like that. Once I've created a set of visualizations on a specific canvas, I may want to look at each of them one at a time in full screen mode. All you have to do to do that is to make sure you're on the right canvas and then hit the presentation mode button here. It turns into a presentation mode or slideshow mode and displays this navigation button here. So I'm now looking at the first visualization. I can move to the next one by clicking here. It will one at a time display them on screen. I can move to the next one right here, and then I've reached the last one, and then I can go back like this, one at a time, and then to get out of the presentation mode, all I have to do is to click on that presentation mode button, and we are back into the regular view of the canvas. Let's have a brief overview of the different visualization types available in Illustrator. So therefore, let's create a new canvas, a blank one, and let's add a big visualization here. Let's go through, let's ask for that question, an open-ended question. We can create a crosstab with a banner, or all of the properties available in Ascribe presentations are available here as well. Proportional background color, you can display only percentages, things like that. And it's, as you can see, pretty interactive and almost instantaneous in terms of results. like for instance, one example, what we can do here is to duplicate that canvas. Okay, we now have a copy, and in canvas 3 we had question 1. In canvas, a copy of canvas 3, which we can rename, of course, we can ask for another question, okay, and so on. So we now have question 2 here. You know, we have to select it first. So question 2 and question 1 here. So okay, anyway, let's go back here, select that visualization. Let's go through here. We will be able to see, let's remove the banner first, see a bar chart here. And what's new, and that's why I removed the banner before, we can add a gender banner, for instance, for a bar chart, which creates then a series and you can compare. So we can also view that question as a pie chart, as a block chart, which is new. The color represent percentiles, so the top 25 percentiles are in red, below the between 50 and 75 are in blue, then in green, then in gray. We can display a co-occurrence chart. Let's ask for only the codes and maybe the top 10. If I click on any of these circles, which means codes, then it will filter the entire illustration on that code. If I filter on any of these, like 20 people said children and juice, fruit juice at the same time, so if I click on that bar, then I get a filter which represent only 20 people. Okay, so remove the filter. We can also view the question as a correlation matrix with the R values if you need them. We can have a star plot, a word cloud. Now the word cloud is a special type of visualization which can generate, for each word you click on, it can generate either a word tree or a list of verbatims containing that word. So let's start with the second one here, list of verbatims. So if I click on juice, I will see a list of, let's just do this, I will see a list of all the verbatims containing that word, and the word is centered by default, but you can uncenter it like this. You can also, for juice, ask to display a word tree. So let's do that. Click on juice, and you will see a nice word tree appearing with juice in the middle. I don't have to explain the word tree anymore. So okay, and you can also filter. If you want to filter on a word specific, click filter here, click on juice, and the illustration will be filtered on the people who mentioned juice for question 1. Okay, and then the last visualization type is we have 2 more. Verbatim list, simply a list of verbatims for that question. And the last one is a grid, which will display next to each other all the banner is a bit too small here, maybe make it a bit bigger, and you see for question 1, question 2, question 3 the different results next to each other. Okay, so what if we want to generate a bar chart for all the questions in the survey? We can do it manually, one by one, or we can click in here and add a batch of visualizations. And you have this dialog appearing in which you can select all the questions for which you want whatever type of visualizations. So let's select all the questions and create a bar chart. A bar chart which has, let's say, yellow bars. Okay? So now let's click OK. What happens? And it's instantaneous, as you can see. It actually generates one bar chart for all the questions that we selected instantaneously with the appropriate property we selected from the properties dialog. Okay, so let's do the reverse. So let's create, and it adds this into a blank new canvas. So let's go back here and let's do the reverse. Let's say that for name choice, we want a crosstab, a bar chart, a pie chart, a block chart, and a correlation matrix, all next to each other on the same canvas. Let's click OK. And there they are. So for on a specific canvas, we have different visualization of the same question, and here on a specific canvas, we have the same visualizations for a different set of questions. Now we can create any kind of combinations. For instance, let's say we can also create create a set of canvases for all the codes of a specific distribution question. So let's say we want for question 1, 2, and 3, we want a crosstab, very simple, and we want a crosstab with a banner of gender, okay? And we want this once for, well, no, let's take another banner here, name choice. Okay, so we want question 1, 2, and 3 as a crosstab. We want this once for the males and once for the females. So we use the distribution question we call gender, and we specify the codes we want to generate. So if I click now OK, what will happen is I will end up with 2 new canvases, one for gender equals females, so we have 941 as a base, and we have question 1, 2, 3, okay, and for all these we have a crosstab of the juiced question here, okay, so this is for females, and we have the same for males here. Very quickly, very powerful. Okay, so now we've spent quite a bit of time generating visualizations and canvases and combinations of visualizations and filters. And here, I think we did save a filter earlier on, yes, called male and juice jumble. And we want to save that. So all we have to do is click the save button here. That's as simple as it gets. Just click the save illustration, and what happens? It actually stores somewhere in the Ascribe database a list of instructions of how to rebuild that illustration from scratch, so that next time you can turn off your browser, come back and select the illustrations you saved earlier. So we can actually do that. So let's click here on open, and you can either, when you click the open button, you can create a new illustration by selecting a study, or you can select one of the existing illustration. So this one is called ID1. So if I select it, what it will do, if I click open, it will actually remove everything here and redraw that illustration. So we're back now into square one, but what we did here, we actually saved that illustration and we restored it on purpose for the demonstration. If you want to make a copy of an illustration, all you have to do is click the Save As button here. So if you click that, the current illustration is called ID1. Let's call this one ID copy, ID1 copy. One, click OK. So we now have a copy, and because we have a message here, because we have a copy, what we can do anything. We want to experiment here, change things. It's a copy, so whatever we do wrong here, we still have the original to go to. What about exporting? Well, all the tables, such as a crosstab, can be exported to Excel. All the images, visualizations, such as bar chart, pie chart, block charts, co-occurrence charts, and so on, can be exported to PowerPoint. It's very simple. All you have to do is select the illustrations you want to export. So let's say we want to select these two, click and control click to PowerPoint. Then all I have to do is click the PowerPoint export button, and it will export these two images to PowerPoint. Here is the PowerPoint document, and here are the two exports. Tables like this can be exported to Excel. I select the ones I want to export. Well, actually, let's go here to one we created earlier on. We have these three tables. Let's select this one, and this one, or click the Select All button here, and then click the Excel Export button. These three tables will be exported to Excel. So they are currently being exported, and the Excel document will be uploaded to the browser in a few seconds. Here it is. Let's open up, and each table, it's a bit too big here, each table is actually exported to a different sheet, question 1, question 2, and question 3. Okay, there are two more export types we can use. Let's go to Canvas 6 here. Okay, let's say we want to export this canvas, this entire canvas that contains a combinations of tables and images. We want to export that. Well, the way we found to do that is to export this to an HTML page. Just click the HTML button here. Okay, it will actually generate an HTML document that is a single file, so it doesn't contain extra files. It's a single HTML document that contains that image, the image of that canvas. Let's open it up here. You can save it to your local computer as well. So here is the file called Illustrator Canvas 9.html, and it displays static images of the current canvas that we exported. Okay, and it contains a little bit of intelligence. So if you can actually scroll into that table here, but you can't do anything such as filtering or clicking or whatever, and you can move them around, or you can't resize, but at least it's a static export of a canvas. And the last possibility to export images here is if you don't want to go through PowerPoint, what you can do is click on that little button here, do that, and then right click and say save image as or copy image. Let's do copy image, and then open Paint. Paint is here, and then paste, and we have a copy of that image. So we have 4 types of export: exporting images to PowerPoint, exporting tables to Excel, several tables, several images, exporting an entire canvas image as a static HTML file, and lastly exporting images one by one to either a PNG file or to the clipboard. 2 topics I want to briefly cover here is codes to ignore, 1, and then dimensions. Regarding codes to ignore, let's say we want to ignore edible and all its children from this visualization. So what we can do is here is click on the codes to ignore button, select the question we want to target here, and click on edibles including all its children, close, and it will redraw the visualization, and that net and all its children will be gone. So that's 1. Regarding dimensions, you can actually take different data points from different questions and put them together in a specific dimension, which is like a virtual question, and then use that question as a visualization or as a banner. So let's make this very quickly. Let's make a combination of things from that question, name choice question here. Click on the dimension here, select name choice. Say we want to create a dimension that contains Cool Quencher, French Waves, and Lemon Sips, like this, and then combine Juice Jumble, everything that's juice together. So let's take that, Juice Refresher, and Juice Slices, and then combine them into something called My Juices, like this. Okay, so we now have a new dimension that contains 3 original data points and a merged data point, and let's call this My Dimension. Okay, let's click OK. And now what we can do is we can actually reduce the size of this one, make a copy of it. Okay, and then in here, instead of displaying the name choice question, we can display that dimension, which will be available from here. Let's go down. My dimension is here, and we now have these 4 data points appearing there. Finally, now that we have created a set of canvases, each canvas containing a set of visualizations, what we can do is create a table of content. To do that, we have to add a new canvas. Just do that, and then on that canvas, click on that button here that says Generate Table of Content. Are you sure? Yes. What it will do, it will add a series of text items. Text items, I think you can add yourself by clicking on that button here. Let's add one. Click text. You can drag it anywhere and give it a name, text item, like that. Press enter, and then you can resize it, put it anywhere, and change the color and resize it and increase the size like this and move it around. These are text items which are automatically generated for you, but they serve as table of content items. So what we can, whenever you click on one of these, you will actually move to the target canvas. So if I click on canvas 5, I will end up now looking at the canvas 5. I can go back to my table of content. Let's rename it table of content here. So like that. Okay. So table of content, and we can actually move it to the beginning here. Okay, so we now have canvas 1, canvas 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have a table of content. And from this list, we can actually move to all the target canvases. Go to canvas 9 like this, canvas 4, canvas 5, and so on.